So if you believe the media, isolationism is growing. Americans don't want to get involved with foreign entanglements. They want to get out of Ukraine. Don't want any money there. They don't want to help Israel with Iran. This is what the media is pushing. Okay, and some high profile individuals absolutely fit into that isolationist category. But the regular folks, I don't think are there, but I could be wrong. All right, because this data is hard to come by. There was a poll sent to me this morning, and it was some outfit and the poll question was, do you support military action, including ground troops in Iran? Well, no, who supports that? That's not even in play. Why do the poll? And of course, overwhelming people, no, we don't want to send U.S. forces over there. I mean, air power is one thing, but infantry is quite something else. All right, but there are, as I said, isolationists. And the interesting part is they're on both sides, the MAGA conservative side and the liberal progressive side. So here's MAGA guy Steve Bannon. Go.
I'm telling people, hey, if we get sucked into this war, which inexorably looks like it's going to happen on the combat side, it's going to not just blow up the coalition, it's also going to thwart what we're doing with the most important thing, which is the deportation of the illegal alien invaders that are here. If we don't do that, we don't have a country.
I don't know how an Iranian action would impact on ICE, but that's Mr. Bannon's opinion, and he is entitled to it. Now, on the left of the Trump haters, there's Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Go.
Donald Trump is so weak in the Middle East that the Israelis essentially ran over him, and now we are speeding towards a war in the Middle East that the American people don't want. The fact of the matter is there was a diplomatic path, and there potentially still could be a diplomatic path.
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, it's obvious the mullahs are stringing us along. How long do you want to give them? So he doesn't care, Murphy doesn't care what's true. He just hates Trump. All right, so let's run it down. Here's a fact that if there is a nuclear explosion in this world, every human being will be affected. So if you're an isolationist, you got to keep that in mind. So if the Iranians develop a nuclear weapon and they somehow streamline it down so it can be portably transported somewhere, it's very hard to do it from the air. But and they blow something up, then everybody in the world's affected. So it's not just over there; it's here, it's everywhere. The Iranians are supporting terrorists. That's beyond any doubt. Hamas, Hezbollah, they give them money, they give them arms. The terrible nightclub assassinations in Orlando, Florida, that was ISIS. I mean, the Iranians are up to their neck in terrorism everywhere. The mullahs admit they have the weapons grade uranium. They're not denying it. They have it. And they go, oh, it's for peaceful purposes. Okay. If it's for peaceful purposes, just let the UN in. Just let them see what you got and bring it right down. It's not hard, but the mullahs won't do that. But you got to keep in mind, Saddam Hussein wouldn't do it either for weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't exist, and cost Saddam his life. He was killed because he lied about the WMDs, and then U.S. forces came in, deposed him, and the Iraqis hung him. Didn't make a lot of sense to me, but he did it. And it's also very instructive to go back a little bit. Appeasement of tyrants never works. Ever. In the history of mankind, it's never worked. So the modern day history, so you remember the British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain visiting Hitler in 1938, and Hitler was taking Austria and in Czechoslovakia, and he's violating the treaty for World War I. He's doing everything. He's rearming. I mean, obviously, the guy was going to cause trouble, massive trouble. And the British go, oh, okay, go ahead. All right, World War II breaks out. Then at the end of World War II, Winston Churchill's the prime minister, and President Roosevelt and Stalin, when the war was a fait accompli that Hitler would lose, they met at Yalta. And at the end of FDR's life, he gave away the store to Stalin, gave Stalin everything he wanted. Winston was a little perturbed by it, but didn't have the power. And General Patton was going absolutely nuts, if you read Killing Patton, that FDR was giving Stalin everything Stalin wanted. What did that lead to? The Cold War. Okay, 40 years? That's what that led to. All right? So appeasement never works. So if you appease Putin, because Ukraine, that's a part of this isolationist movement. And if you appease the mullahs, there's going to be more trouble. Don't think there won't be, there will be. 100% guarantee. Now, if you don't believe that Iran's a threat to the world, you don't want to believe it. And there are people like that. They just live in a bubble. I see it every day. Oh, they're not close to developing a nuclear weapon. And one of these people is the American National Security Director, Tulsi Gabbard. This is an amazing story. So Gabbard doesn't see the threat, even though President Trump appointed her head of national security. He doesn't see it. Roll the tape.
Political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness.
Now, that was just posted about a week ago. And Trump's mad. That's it for Tulsi. She's done. Okay? And when she was appointed national security chief, I like her, by the way. I mean, I've interviewed her a number of times, and I think she's a woman of conviction, but her conviction is isolationism. And Trump should have known that. So she's out. All right, let's sum this up. President Trump's not a warmonger. He doesn't really want to use U.S. air power, but there's a good chance he will. A lot of it has to do with how the mullahs behave. If the mullahs would surrender and the UN people would go in there under U.S. supervision and dismantle the whole thing, then there wouldn't be a need for it. That's probably a long shot. The mullahs themselves are going to wind up like Gaddafi with their throats cut in a ditch. That's going to happen to them. But if they were to surrender, maybe they could extend their lives a little bit. The other possibility is the Iranian army will turn on the mullahs. Remote. Okay, but the Persians are different than the Arabs. Right? The popular support in Iran is not with the mullahs, but they got the secret police state going on. All right, so I can't predict with any certainty what will happen. I do know that air power plans are drawn up, and Donald Trump could act on them anytime he wants. It's up to him 100%. Israel doesn't have much say in this. Israel will have to do what we tell them to do. And Netanyahu will be thrilled if we go in and dismantle that Furlough Mountain. And the anti-Semites, the anti-Israel progressive crew, they're touting that we're lackeys to Israel. You know that. That's what all those Columbia University things were all about. You know, Israel's a terrorist state, is a genocide, on and on and on and on. But in real life, Israel's not going to let Iran have an atomic weapon, an atom bomb, a nuclear weapon, because Iran wants to kill them all. If you lived in Jerusalem, you'd feel the same way. And that's the memo. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.